Hey everyone, I'm Sean Smith. I'm the founder of Elite Coaching University, and I'm glad you're on this page because if you're watching this video, well, that means that you downloaded this free report called How to Achieve an Up to 80% Closing Ratio on Your Coaching Consultations. And if you're a coach selling especially private coaching programs, it's really important that you do consultations with people because you're not selling widgets, you're not just selling products. You need to have trust. And a lot of people, before they sign up and pay somebody money that they trust enough to help them fix their life in any way, shape, or form, they need a connection. They need a little bit more information. And free coaching consultations is one of the best ways that I've learned and used to sell coaching programs. In fact, I've never sold any coaching program online, meaning people can just go to a website and choose what coaching program they want. I've only sold coaching programs through these free consultations. In the beginning, I was doing them all myself. Now I have other people that do these consultations, but we've sold hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars just in the last 2 years on free coaching consultations. So I swear by this strategy. It is a great, great tool for you to use. And on this short video, I want to give you just a little bit more of the conceptual understanding so that when you get your hands on this document and you start using it, you have a better foundational awareness of how to use it to your best ability. So hopefully you find this video helpful. So free consultations. The first piece here is that your closing depends on your connection. Now, this report is called How to Sell or How to Close Up to 80%, but in no way, shape, or form am I going to promise you that you're going to sell 80% of your consultations. It depends on connection. Now, I've used this exact flow, this script, to sell up to 80%, but it depends on the crowd. And ultimately, it depends on where these people are coming from. When I was closing 80%, it was because they were coming from a live event. Now, when I'm with somebody for a day or for up to 5 days at a live event, there's a ton of connection. And when people get on these calls and we go through this script, there's so much connection that most of them are going to say yes to that next step. But if you're doing these phone calls with people that you've never met before, we call that cold traffic. There's no way you're going to close 80% of the people on the line. And if anybody tells you that they can close 80% of cold traffic, I don't want to say they're lying. I just haven't seen anything close to that. In the cold traffic world where people don't know you yet, it's probably between 20 and 30% that you are going to close into a coaching program. Now, obviously, there's all kinds of variables, how good you are on the phone, etc. But I just want you to understand, 80% is the highest piece. It's not the expectation that I want you to have, right? I want to be very honest with you. And it depends on many factors, how certain you are, how much you flow during this call, etc. But I have done as much as 80% with the right connection. The second piece here is when you do these consultations, it's really valuable for you because what it is basically market research. And the reason I want you to understand that is that a lot of coaches are resistant to doing these free consultations because it's 30 minutes out of your day, could be 45 minutes, could be a little bit longer. And a lot of coaches go, well, I don't want to waste my time giving away 30 minutes when at the end of the call, they might not buy a coaching program. Number one, that's kind of arrogant, if I could just be blunt with you. It's arrogant and it's egotistical, and you have to earn the right for people to hire you as a coach. And they won't hire you, and you haven't earned that right until you really, truly understand them. So when you're on these phone calls doing consultations, you're doing market research. You're learning what they're saying to you. You're learning what they want you to say to them. You're keeping track of how many times they're saying yes to your coaching program and what they're not. You're paying attention to what happened on the calls where they said no and what happened on the calls when they said yes. So trust me, It is well worth your time getting on the phone with these people, even if for a lot of them, you're not going to end up selling a coaching program. This market research will help you sell products in the future. It'll help you increase your closing percentage on these calls in the future. This is high value time that you're going to be investing into this, I promise. So please don't have this shallow, myopic view that a lot of coaches have that say, I'm only going to talk to people if I think I'm going to be able to sell them into a coaching program. That's not coming from the right place. You're not coming from a place of service, and it's not going to help you learn the marketing skills that you need to learn. So market research is critical. When I was starting out, you guys, I was on the phone with anybody that would take a call from me. I was on the phone with everybody that would get on the phone with me because I knew the value of market research. And eventually that turned into literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in coaching sales, but millions of dollars in product sales, because all of that information helps me develop products. It helps me do videos. It helps me do everything in my business. And I want to know what my target clients are thinking. The best way to do that is get them on the phone and ask them. The third piece here is when you set up your consultations, you want to give it a good title. You want to have a benefit-driven title. So don't just call this a free consultation. And I would suggest you don't call it a free coaching session either, although sometimes I will do that if there's going to be coaching on the call. But be very strategic and intentional with how you title these. Let's say you're in the space where you help people find their purpose. You know, maybe that call is like a way-finding call. Find your way phone call with me, where I'm going to help you figure out what it is that you're supposed to be doing with your life. Or maybe you're in the relationship space and this is like a connection call, or you call this like a freedom path call or something like that. It's got to be aligned with what you're going to teach on the call, but it's got to be benefit driven with the outcomes of what you want people to ultimately experience after they're on the call. So in my space, we usually call these like business explosion sessions or business strategy consultations or something like that, if we're going to talk about somebody's coaching business and we want to create a more of a strategic game plan. But be intentional with the title of these calls and it'll be more attractive to people. And then the final thing I want to talk about before you dive into that script and start using it is that high ticket products and programs require personal touch. One of the biggest frustrations that I see in the coaching market specifically is that coaches get frustrated that people are not buying their programs just off the website or just off of a video. And what I've found, especially in the coaching market, which again requires that connection, like I said earlier, what I found is that people have like this money threshold. Now, in the marketing world, this money threshold is generally about $2,000. What that means is anything over $2,000 is probably going to require a personal touch. So it's probably going to require an actual phone call for them to feel comfortable in investing a high dollar amount. Now that is generally in the online marketing world when you see people do these big launches and they do a bunch of videos and webinars and stuff like that. And a lot of times these are just products. In the coaching world, where generally there needs to be this connection I've been referring to, I think this is actually a little bit lower. I think it's right around probably about $1,000, maybe even less. It depends on your market, depends on several variables. But just understand, because of the nature, because of the intimate connection of coaching, people need a personal touch generally before they invest in any decent sized dollar amount, for a package. So get them on the phone as much as you possibly can. Now, the last thing I want to do with you for this forum is I want to talk to you about 3 of the tips that are on the back side here. I want to talk to you about number 1, number 5, and number 10. Number 1 says people don't buy when they understand you. People buy when they know you understand them. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of coaches make, is they spend all this time and energy trying to get people to understand them, right? And there's nothing wrong with that connection. They do want to understand you, But that's not what's going to cause them to jump over that fence and become a buyer generally. They need to know that you get them, because we're talking about trust here. They need to trust that you can help them get from where they are to wherever it is that they're going next. And in order for them to trust that you can help them, they need to know that you understand them. That doesn't mean that you have to be in the exact same space that they are, or that you have been in the exact same space from a detailed perspective, but they need to know that you get them enough for them to put their life in your hands on some level, either really deep or more shallow, and say, can you help me get to this next space? So I want you to spend time not only understanding them, which is what you do with all the consultations and stuff, but I want you to make sure that you're letting them know that you understand them, right? And that's such a critical component in selling your coaching services. Number 5 says be flexible. What I've given you is a framework, right? It's a script. I've given you actual questions you can use, but you have a different personality than I have. You have a different market than I have. So use this as a model, but allow it to become yours. Allow yourself to be flexible inside of each and every coaching call. You might have to take certain detours because it requires it, because they answer a question a little bit differently than you were expecting or whatever. So be flexible inside of each call, and also be flexible with this particular process. If it needs to adapt to your market and to your personality, then allow it to do that. And then number 10 is the most important piece to coaching in general, in my opinion. Sales, marketing, and actually delivering the coaching, which is for you to be curious. Be curious about the human being that's on the line with you. This is a person that's taking 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes out of their day and giving it to you to help them achieve something that they want in their life. Be curious, give them the compassion, give them the respect that they deserve, and do the market research like I was talking about, so that you can learn more about them. And when you understand where they are in their life, it'll be easier for you to make a recommendation about what their next step should be. And if that recommendation is to jump into one of your coaching programs or hire you as an individual coach, it's going to be so much better received when they know you get them, and when they know that you really truly care about them and you're curious about where it is that they are in their life and what it is that they want to do next, right? So hopefully this is going to be super valuable for you. I'd love to hear how it helps you in your consultations, how it helps you sell more coaching programs. But wait, before you go, I want to invite you to a webinar that I'm doing. If you're a coach and you want to build your coaching business, there are many more components than just these free sessions, obviously. And I've got a webinar coming up, and it's called the Simple 4-Step System for Attracting High-Paying Clients that you love to work with. This is one of the biggest pain points in the coaching industry. People don't know how to identify their clients, and they definitely don't know how to attract the clients, and they don't know how to get people that they love working with. You know, you hear a lot in this industry, people talk about your ideal client, who's your ideal market, and there's a science to identifying and attracting those people. And when you get good at attracting the people that you love working with, you're going to feel like you're just in heaven. Business is going to come easier. You're going to be making a lot more money. You're going to be lit up with positive energy because you're truly aligned with your purpose and everything is working in your business. So I'm going to go deeper on this webinar. Obviously, we're going to talk about this coaching framework that I've developed over 10 years of coaching that you'll be able to use immediately. I'm actually going to do a breakthrough exercise on the line with somebody that you'll be able to walk through and implement right away. It'll help yourself, and it'll help you coaching some clients of yours. We'll talk about the biggest marketing mistakes that coaches make. We'll talk about this attraction. I'm going to break down and dissect the science of attraction marketing, and we're going to do a lot more. So somewhere on this page is the information for this webinar. There's a button to click for you to register for the webinar. If you're interested to go deeper, then I look forward to seeing you on this webinar. And please share with me the results that you get from this consultation guide, because I know it'll help you learn more about your client, ultimately sell more coaching programs. So with that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I look forward to coming to you in another video or on a webinar very soon.